to be desired. So hopefully he has a much better game this week and can, show why he's here.
Yeah, I think Killaroo going with the AP Shyvana in week 1, probably not the correct choice. Similarly as well, the bot lane, Ducky and Boy Meets Evil. I think Boy Meets Evil a bit more than Ducky was getting caught out a fair too many times, and they just had a rough experience overall. So I am looking for Murdoch to hopefully put a better performance out there. I do believe it does start with the jungle, though, with Killaroo. I want to see him on something a bit more conventional this time around. He's going to have to be, because if you look back at that Griffith side, it's the tale of two junglers right now. One jungle has 0 deaths, the other has 0 kills. Which one would you like to bank on? I'd probably be going on the school from Queensland in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to go with that there. Going into this, what do you think about this game? Who are you betting on is going to win?
I think I just said it, Griffith.
You're going for Griffith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with MDU on this one. I think that they can pull it away. I trust the Simp Master. I think Killaroo has shown that he is a better jungler than he showed last week, and I have faith that, they'll be able to play. And going in, we have 2 bans already put in. Lucian, Caitlyn banned out straight away.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I think this is critical, because if Murdoch is going to win, they do have to shut down Miniman. And Miniman, an ex-bot lane player, now playing mid lane, we know he's strong on this Lucian. He had an amazing performance in week 1. Getting rid of that Lucian means maybe we do get to see Miniman on something that isn't necessarily another AD carry in that mid lane. Like, he can still go for your Zeds, your Yasuos, or your Yone, as he is now available. So
and
we
banned.
Oh, well, they can't do the Yone. But, we still could see him on any of those other AD assassins. However, no Lucian available, so we will have to see some variety from the Griffith side, and I think getting Miniman off something he might not be comfortable with is the first step for a blue side victory.
Yes, I agree. Blue side victory is going to rely on shutting down that mid lane. As we see them pick up the Ashe, we were speaking, one of the most meta ADCs right now, along with Caitlyn, so it makes sense that they're going to pick it up. As Ezreal actually gets picked up for Chewy, it looks like there, or can never throw it off the off the mortar. Miniman could play Ezreal mid. It has been done before, so that is definitely an option.
I like the Bard lock-in a lot. We didn't get to see Bard in week 1 at all, where we saw a lot of Ashes and Ezreals. Interestingly enough, I feel both Ashe and Ezreal actually underperformed week 1 overall in this tournament thus far. Neither team going to be going for that Sona Lux, as Lux did get banned out, so it's not even available. It's interesting to see the backup AD carries and where those lie. Nautilus will get locked in for a lot of that level 6 shutdown from Murdoch University. Fun fact about both these bot laners in week 1, they had a combined total of 1 kill between the two of them. I don't think that's going to be the case already. When I see Ashe Nautilus locked in, that is a bot lane hunting for kills on the Murdoch side.
Yeah, no, that is not a team that's looking to play passive and just try, kill the minions. They want to kill champions. And especially we get that idea from the fact that they just locked in Kha'Zix in the jungle. Murdoch currently is picking a hyper-aggressive team, which is, something they need to do to counteract Miniman. He plays hyper-aggressive. Got to match fire with fire.
Yeah, but they also have to be cautious of that top lane as well. One thing that I did notice from both these sides coming into this is they each want to be, I think, a bit more mid-top half focused. I do feel like whichever team has the weaker top lane, in terms of the weak side, top side, they're going to struggle a bit more in this game. And I like Toppy getting set. I like this a lot, actually. Toppy had a great performance on set, I believe, in week 1, actually. Yeah. So to see him back on this champion, we already know he can carry on this type of champion. Griffith University, they're putting together a very strong comp.
Yeah, currently I really like that comp. Murdoch does have that hyper-aggressive CC comp. However, Griffith has an all-round solid meta sort of team. Set, like you said, in the top lane is incredibly, incredibly strong. I'm curious to see what Murdoch picks up here. GU's already banned away the Echo. They've banned away the Volibear. So we might see something like a Renekton. We've seen it mentioned in the past. Shred that shield down, try and compete. A Wukong is always an option in that top lane, but we'll have to see.
I would like to see a Renekton, to be perfectly honest. I feel Renekton is super strong, either weak or strong side. Like, it's very versatile. A lot of teams actually had a fair bit of success on Renekton in week 1. However, the Galio actually is going to be locked in, and we wanted something different from Miniman. I think Galio is a good pick for it. You can still play aggressive with Galio, get away with it, and he does a deceptive amount of damage.
Yeah, no, Galio is one of those champions that, especially into the team that MDU was building, I think is going to be incredibly, incredibly useful. Having that AoE taunt, having the ultimate be able to get in. Murdoch is going for a quick engage, quick kill sort of comp. If you can add a Galio in there to really disrupt things, they don't have the most HP. Nautilus, yes, does have his tank, but Ashe, Kha'Zix, and even Swain to an extent isn't incredibly tanky since the changes to his kit.
So a fun fact about this Galio lock-in as well. Week 1, there's 5 games played throughout the Intervarsity League. 10 different mid laners were locked in. Galio is the first repeat mid laner we have actually locked in this tournament, as Renekton will get picked up for MDU. Swain locked in as well. So that's going to be a mid Nautilus, I believe. Oh, wait, no, it'd be a mid Swain.
No, it'd be mid Swain.
No, I want mid Nautilus and I want Swain support.
We love last year's Worlds, but it's not last year's Worlds.
But I want mid Nautilus. Ryze is going to get locked in as well. Okay.
Ryze for the top lane.
Yep, so that will be a Ryze. No, Ryze would go mid. Ryze would go mid. Galio will go.
Yeah. My brain is tripping.
No, Ryze will go top. Galio will go mid. So yeah, it will be the Ryze top lane with the set jungle.
Yes.
All right, flex
there
picks.
We go.
We're flexing.
We're trying to find what they're going to do while they're switching around. It happens to the best of us. We picked the Renekton though, so that was good to see.
Yay!
It makes sense. But I think that was a really smart pick for them to actually put him in the jungle, because now some of the strength of that Renekton in that top lane trade, aka the shield shred and that melee contestation, isn't there, because now he's up against a Ryze, so all that AP damage coming through from ranged is now going to force him to have to go aggressive, which is going to be a really rough spot if he can't confirm kills.
It's going to be very hard, I feel, for that Renekton and that Kha'Zix to find those kills on the top side of the match against Toppy. However, I still think that Toppy is going to have to play somewhat passively to just not have himself exposed. So I actually do like the top half of the map a bit more for ACU than I do for Murdoch in this instance. Not ACU, for Murdoch, Griffith. I like it more for Murdoch than I do for Griffith in this one. Apologies right there. I think they're going to be a bit stronger up in that top half of the map, but I do like Griffith's spot side, I think they're going to be fine. The Ezreal Bard. Ezreal obviously can perform and play very safely. Bard should have that ability to roam. The Nautilus locked in was going to try and counter that Bard. I'll be curious to see if he's going to be successful in doing so, because they'll try to keep the Bard sort of trapped in that bot lane, making it so he can't roam around, or else Ezreal will get caught. But we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, so it's definitely a suffocating counterpick there. Bard's strength is the ability to roam, get that bonus XP, all the charms, he needs them to stack. And especially really early mid lane roams are really effective on that champion. So if you're able to lock that away, that entire aspect of the champion away, it'll make things very, very difficult for them to get away. Like you said, the Ashe, the Nautilus, that's just asking to be locked down. Whether you hit the ulti or not first, it's a dead Ezreal. If you leave lane, that is a dead ADC.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the theory behind it, but Ezreal is going to be tough to catch, so be curious to see if that will fall through, as we will be getting onto the Rift in just a few moments. It felt like the theme of that pick and ban phase was the flex picks, as everyone was able to take sort of every champion every which way. I still wanted the Nautilus mid with the Swain support, not because I necessarily thought it would have been good, I just thought it would have been funny. That's not to be the case, but still, it's interesting to see both these teams actually take very different looking compositions to what they had the week prior.
Yeah, their team comps that they're playing today are pretty much completely different. Like you said, this is the first double up mid laner that we've had in the entire tournament, let alone in their matches. Miniman is going on what should be a much less aggressive character. Yes, Galio can get those hard engages if he needs it to, but I don't see that being like the contention at the moment.
The thing as well that I find interesting about Griffith's side as a whole is how passive their laning phase realistically is going to be. Like, it's definitely going to be a case of Murdoch has to be that aggressive team. Griffith is going to be the team playing for the late game. I mean, you have a Ryze who's going to want to scale. You're going to have a Ezreal who'll be trying to play around that Bard mid. So Bard definitely is going to be looking to roam around and maybe get the Galio going earlier so that front line can be established. And then mid game, they definitely will want to fight. They have that late game insurance. Yeah. But because of how passive these lanes are going to be, it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them to find those openings sometimes in the early and mid phase, which is why I go back to the jungle. Like I always like to do. I want to go back to the jungle for this one, and I do think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Splits in this jungle on this set to just try and find and sometimes force ganks as early as he can, even though Set probably doesn't have the best gank until level 6. A lot of prowess and a lot of priority should be put on this jungle. He had a great performance last week. He needs to almost have a greater one this week.
Yeah, no, he definitely needs to have a great performance this week, like you said. Set, not known for the greatest of early game ganks. Yes, the Q movement speed is incredibly helpful. The face breaker is really good to get people locked down. However, you know, he doesn't have hyper mobility. Kha'Zix is able to get the E, the W, you know, slow them, jump in, can really get through immobile champions really quickly. So he's going to have a much easier gank, whereas... you know, the Set is going to have a much, much harder time and is going to have to play out of his mind to sort of keep up with that.
Yeah, and the pathing is going to be critical as well, because while I do agree with you, yes, Killaroo might have that better gank, Killaroo also has the better clear, and in my opinion, also the better invade. So that's something as well that Spitz is going to have to be mindful of. You never want to be caught out on your own against a Kha'Zix, especially with a champion like Set, who kind of wants to be in the middle of a big melee, not so much in that 1v1 type situation. It's going to be a very tight game. I do think that, you know, Murdoch has drafted a very strong team. Whether or not they're going to be able to pull it off, that's yet to be seen. Obviously, Griffith did come into this 1-0. Murdoch is 0-1, so if we're going to be going by team record thus far, Griffith should have the advantage there. Murdoch, though, they might have the more aggressive team composition. They might be able to take that lead and hold on to it. We're about to find out as we do hit the Rift for the first time tonight.
Yes, and we've actually, an interesting note, Killaroo has opted for the Dark Harvest Kha'Zix rather than going for the Phase Rush Kha'Zix. My assumption being, you know, he's going to be going for those early game invades and try to get as many stacks as he can on Spitz, who realistically can't fight back too much.
Also, what I am interested in as well is Anderson rocking that electrocute Swain. So that tells me he kind of wants to be a bit more aggressive, perhaps, but also has the heal, which I'm even more curious about, actually. You don't typically see heals in the mid lane.
No, I think that's sort of respecting the fact that Miniman, I think he thought Miniman was going to take the Ignite, and he still has the potential to with that Unsealed Spellbook. So I think he's trying to, you know, maybe get that extra bit of healing when he needs it, or to assist in, you know, the gank. Something that is quite interesting to take note of is the fact that, you know, there's a lot of pings going down.
Wow.
That's a lot of pings. They're really wanting that base. They really want to win.
Look, objective control is super important, and if you can control Griffith's Nexus, I think Murdoch would be in a good spot. What I'm disappointed in is that Murdoch isn't acting on these pings right now. Instead, they're focusing on their own jungle. They're focusing on their own farm. No one is making that self-sacrificial teleport flash play to get into the Griffith pace and just start attacking that Nexus stack.
Yeah, they've decided to opt for a more conventional level 1, aka leashing the jungler and going to lane, instead of diving, you know, Nexus towers, which is off meta to say, you know, to say the least, but is incredibly viable.
Someone was calling for it on the team, all right? We all saw those pings. Someone on Murdoch wanted the Nexus dive at level 1. We didn't get it. Murdoch, get your comms together.
Yeah, and here we see the strength in that poke from the Swain in the mid lane. Wow, Boy Medieval is already gone from this lane.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was a cosmic binding that connected.
Yeah.
And that is a scary situation right now, because if one more hits, especially with the phase rush on Braza as well, should have the ability to run Boy Meets Evil down. That could be a very, very dead Ashe. And Boy Meets Evil had this problem last week, where just getting caught out a lot in lane, and it's a bit unfortunate to see this trend continuing already at the start of this game.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to potentially get a level 3 fight here between the junglers, maybe going to contest that top crab against each other, but it looks like they're just going to retreat at the moment, get some extra camps up. Right now, it is slightly MDU favored in the top lane by the fact that they have lane priority. So on that roam, Simmaster is going to be a little bit faster on the roam. Mid lane is a bit of a bit of another point. Miniman has got that.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. It's fine.
Yeah, it's really the story, I think, so far this game actually has to have been that bot lane trade, because that is such a massive advantage being over to Griffith University, who you would have to think has that lane advantage until level 6. Killaroo, going for an invade, did get spotted out, and the faster team to the play was Griffith University, who They seem to be playing that one step faster at this stage, both in bot and in mid right now. Griffith University getting these small advantages over their opponents.
Yeah, and it looks like they're potentially even trying to take Kha'Zix off the bot side as they pinged it, you know, knowing that he's going to rotate to it. Spitz as well is on the way down, potentially trying to take it. Yeah,
yep.
Killer Rouge just been denied, you know, both crabs, so this is really, really big for them. They might even leave it. Never mind. I was going to say they might leave it for Spitz, but looks like they're just trying to push that advantage they have in the bot lane, get some extra gold onto Chewy.
They're actually going for the invade against Killaroo, and this was not something we expected necessarily throughout the picks and bans, and that's one of the benefits of getting both those scuttles. No longer can Killaroo actually go for those invades and look to harass Spitz with essentially both the scuttles gone. It makes it a tougher journey as we got a bit of the magical journey going straight after Ducky, but it's Boy Meets Evil who gets caught, forced to flash already. Heal used as well. Boy Meets Evil was even ignited, but will get out of that alive. And a great gank just completely wins the bot lane for Griffith.
Yeah, completely wins it there. Flash heal on the Ashe used for flash set and ignite barb there. Really, really close to a kill. Incredibly lucky that Boy Meets Evil didn't die there. But this is what the precedent was set early. You know, they lost that level 1 trade, and although CS was even for a little bit, the setting was there that, oh wow. Good trade up top by Scentmaster as Toppy, never mind, has just said, hey, you forgot who I'm playing, remember?
Exactly that. I mean, you can't be too careful against the Rise. Going back to that play down bot below, that is the strength of the Bard support, obviously. The magical journeys, bringing along friends as well, the ability to roam from essentially, you know, the middle of the jungle down to the lane that quickly. And you typically see, you know, the fast Bard roams to necessarily find those ganks in bot lane, but Braza did a great job in sort of initiating that play down below as well. And Griffith University's bot lane, they're looking much stronger this week than they did last week, and this is a good sign for this team moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's an incredibly good sign seeing them act, you know, this much more impactful. Like you're saying, both bot lanes had a combined kill score of 1 from last week, whereas they're already setting the precedent that that is not going to be the case. Looking at, you know, CS and itemization, especially in this bot lane, which is the most disparity, you know, there's the biggest English. You know, Ashe is coming back with a Cull and a D-Blade. Meanwhile, Ezreal has opted to take the Sheen, obviously knowing that he has that advantage in the lane and is deciding to go for a hyper-aggressive, you know, Sheen pick over the Tear of the Goddess. Yeah,
Dragon is also going to be taken as well as a result of sort of this bot lane domination coming out of this Griffith side. Very interesting to see this as well, because I thought both teams would be having a bit more focus on the top half of the map, considering the performance from both Scentmaster and Toppy in week 1. Granted, Toppy actually did spend most of the game last week kind of on his own, and then it wasn't until late in the game when we saw Toppy have that larger impact. This time, because definitely going to be the same. Already is going to be stacking that tier. Griffith University focusing on the bot side. I would think in response, Murdoch would be trying to get Scentmaster going, but instead it's just been invades time and time again. The heroic entrance from Miniman. Not going to do too much. You got to get on the other side of the blasting cone, Spitz, if you want the kill, but made the active decision to bounce back. So more invading, red buffs being taken away. Murdoch University just not allowed to have anything go in their favor.
No, nothing on there. And they're actually going to go for a bot lane dive, I think. It was pinged. Galio did use ulti, but they are respecting it and backing off. You know, good idea from MDU. Smart play to back off there, because that was going to end in disaster for them.
Yeah, the minion wave was a bit too far away, I feel like, for Griffith to properly pull that gank off. No harm, no foul, though, in having a look for it. This bot lane still is very much going in favor of Cosmic Binding by Braza, getting both of the bot laners from Murdoch in that one ability. Just complete dominance on the bot half of the map, and I'm waiting for Murdoch to try and mitigate the damage on the top half. I mean, there are so many jungle farms up there right now for Killaroo to take, yet Killaroo continues to keep himself on the bot side. And if you take a look at the map, there's nothing around for that Kha'Zix. There is no plays to be made. There is no farm to be had. Really needs to be on the opposite end.
Yeah, I think he needs to accept the fact that that bot side, he is going to get ganked repetitively. It is a weak side for them. And you see an invade coming in from Toppy going and actually potentially grabbing Killaroo's blue buff right out from under his nose. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but he has got wards, so now they can easily track where Kha'Zix is. And this is a Kha'Zix that is already behind, and now he's being tracked efficiently. He is going to have nowhere to go in this map. And just something to take note of, the fact that, you know, Swain is one of those champions who has got a little bit of a change over the last, I think, 2-3 patches, got some buffs, got some nerfs. His W now has an incredibly long range, which is going to make him, you know, unfortunately they haven't got that lead, because that W is an incredibly good tool for spotting out junglers now, because it's got about double the range it used to. You can ping that around choke points, see maybe if they're on camps, tell you which camps are up so you can guess route paths.
Yep.
So it's a shame we haven't seen that so far. We might see it later on if things start to even out. But currently there is just a very big difference between both of these teams right now, with very little to show for it.
Yeah, there hasn't been too many crazy fights yet, but if the teams continue to play the way that they are, eventually Griffith is just going to pretty much choke Murdoch out. Murdoch feeling like they're forced to try and steal the Herald away. They might go for it. However, it is secured by the red side. The taunt coming out of Miniman only connects on the back line, but the damage on the Killaroo is there. Spitz, meanwhile, actually has to flash to escape. First blood secured by the Galio down below, as Simpmaster is going to try to eat some chicken for dinner. It's going to flash to block the escape, and that will secure the kill. A great effort by Simpmaster to even the score.
That was a really good flash there, predicting that the E was going to come down, because that wasn't a reactive flash. That was an early flash to make sure that there was no option. You know what? He took 2 tower shots. It is what it is. You know, we can't take it away from him. He's just feeling himself a little bit. Really good flash, gets that kill. Did you see how low Spitz got there?
Yes, I thought Spitz was gone.
I thought he was going to get hit by something, whether it be, you know, a Scorch, a minion from out of nowhere, something. So, although it is only a 1-for-1 trade, it is something to take note of, that although that was a bad fight for Griffith, they still actually managed to come out in a decent position. However, Murdoch was able to put a lot of damage down very quickly. Especially Simpmaster was able to shred Spitz. Like we said, that's that matchup that he was picked for. He got the shield and W'd him away and absolutely melted Spitz off the face of the planet.
It's also a little bit almost frustrating, I feel like, for Murdoch, though, because that's just more evidence that I want to see Killaroo trying to get Simpmaster going sooner in this game. Simpmaster, again, proving to kind of be that star player for this Murdoch side, but it's just getting no map support, it feels like, and is almost being put in a, like, you just have to do everything, and we're going to rely on you to do it yourself, come in late, save the day. However, against Arise, Toppy is going to be looking to do that same thing. I just don't know if he's going to accrue a large enough lead. The enchanted crystal arrow into the dredge line does catch out Spitz. However, the big ultimate out of Bard buys time. Spitz again still alive for the heroic entrance, who stops the fall through Killaroo. Does eventually get the kill on the flank, and Miniman, stuck in a 1v3 situation, falls as well. And now the race is on to find Killaroo. He does have the backup in Ducky. Murdoch takes the lead.
Yeah, that was a really, really good enchanted crystal arrow there. The synergy with Swain is going to be prevalent with this team comp. We already mentioned that it is a hyper CC team comp, and getting those extra little bits of pulls like we saw is going to actually put them well out of position. They might be trying to go for this dragon here.
What I find super cool about this dragon right now is that it's not a mountain drake.
It is.
It is an ocean drake. The pattern has been broken. Warp. We have something different.
We have a new jungle pattern.
Now it's going to be Infernal Ocean Mountain as opposed to Infernal Mountain Ocean.
There you go.
There we go. And it looks like said Ocean Drake is actually going to be taken by Griffith University as we speak. So another neutral objective going to this red side. Despite being down in kills, they have continued to get all these neutral objectives. Again, Griffith University, they're largely playing for the late game. So the fact that they're still getting these neutral objectives, the fact that they're going to have priority for, as I said, this Mountain Drake, that's a very good sign, I feel like, and it tells me that this late game might come sooner, maybe even too soon for Murdoch to handle.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We've got Spitz trying to go for a Hex Flash play there. Wasn't to be made out. You know, something that we need to keep an eye out for is the fact that Toppy is a character that, in, you know, playing Rise, he's comfortable just sitting up top lane the way he has been and just farming, because he's their late game insurance, effectively. Killaroo, I think, needs to do more on that top side to put pressure on Toppy, because he's comfortable just sitting there farming for 40 minutes, showing up in a team fight. Hi, how you doing? Where's your HP bar? Just deleting them off the face of the planet. So I think Killaroo really needs to be aware that that is something that is a threat to their victory, because every minute this game goes on, Toppy is getting stronger.
Exactly. That already has the catalyst now working towards perhaps that Roa. That's what I would expect as we see the Realm World escape after the drop of the Rift Herald. Didn't look like anyone really got too much from the platings, though. Very unfortunate for Griffith that Killaru's arrival kind of scared the rest of them off. Meanwhile, down below, the dredge line from Ducky connects onto Braza. Spitz caught in the middle of it as well. The Bard's going to try to flash to escape, but Braza getting hunted down by Anderson. The taunt not in time. Meanwhile, a Showstopper will help get the kill down onto himself. It was an attempt to escape, but one that was in vain. Murdoch finds another couple kills.
Another couple kills. What? This is a really interesting game so far because nothing has gone the way that we expected. You know, Boy Meets Evil got that level 1, you know, trade that really didn't go their way. All the lanes were sort of pushed in GU's favor. They had the jungle domination. They had everything going their way. But currently, every fight has just gone Murdoch's way, like here.
Tower dive, looking to go their way as well, but a great play from Braza actually does keep Miniman alive, so power to the Bard, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the strength of that ultimate coming out of Bard, is that he can keep people safe, or, you know, he can be your friend or your foe. He can be your angel or your devil. He can really do stuff.
Temper your fate, as I would like to say. Don't know if that has anything to do with being a hero or a villain. It just kind of sounds cool. I think that'd be my anime slogan. I'm here to temper your fate.
That's,
Whoopah.
If I heard that late at night, I'd be terrified.
Good.
So going back to the game and the not to the artificial threats, looking back, you know, we were saying Murdoch has every fight that Murdoch has won so far and every kill they've gotten has not been in a conventional fight. No. It's always been a disadvantageous fight for GU, catching them out, hitting. Ooh, Boy Meets Evil.
That is a very good ward by Boy Meets Evil, but it might not be enough. You can see the follow-through is there from Braza and Chewy, and that's going to be a kill. But in return, Ducky actually connects on the dredge line. Teleport's coming in. Zipmaster going straight for that back line. Instead gets himself a face full of Braza and a face full of a True Shot Barrage to help secure the kill. Spitz able to find it on the back end. Ducky barely escapes, but who does not? Killaru does not, as he will be the next to fall. Chewy stuck in the front line, takes the manageable journey to get out alive. Toppy throwing some of that machine gun rise back at Anderson. The damage not quite there yet. 5-5. Griffith found their way back in.
Very, very good, you know, general fight there from Griffith. Chewy managing to stay alive there on the backline. A very, very good magical journey from Braza there at the end to save his team from Anderson's ultimate, making sure that they got out casualty free. Really, really good. Every fight that has gone in this game has been disadvantageous and broken. I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we finally get a team fight, because so far it has been skirmishes that have been going either way.
Yeah, I mean, that really was the first skirmish to truly go in favor of Griffith. It does come from their proactive positioning. I like the evil from Boy Meets Evil, but again, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but Boy Meets Evil has a tendency to get caught out at inopportune moments, and this trend is continuing. Murdoch spot lane, for the record, still without a kill in what has been 1.5 games.
Yeah.
This trend is sort of... Actually, no, they did have a kill. They were the team with the kill last time. Chewy and Braza was the team that weren't able to get a kill. So now, you know, Chewy and Braza, I guess, has a 3-1 lead in kills overall. Point is, we can get rid of that storyline. Bot lanes now do have kills to their name.
Yeah, bot lane has been much more functioning this game. I don't know what necessarily went wrong for them last time, and that shut them out of the game, but Chewy's been playing quite well, and if we look at his lead, you know, he's got that 132 CS, he's got his 3 kills, he's got his Mana Moon stacking, he's nearly got his Trinity Force. He's almost there, so he is in a very, very good position compared to the Ashe, who's got a Bilge Water and 32 stacks on a Cull.
I think I mentioned this last week, but Chewy, I just think, had an off week overall last week as we see this Mountain Drake get engaged upon the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will shut down the backline of Griffith as Murdoch goes flying over the wall. The Showstopper tries to get Simpmaster out. The Dragon was secured by the red side, but Toppy, stuck in a bad place, has to try to get the World Warp to escape and does. But up above, the Simpmaster is slicing and dicing and getting kills in return. It's Miniman for Killaru. The Dragon goes to Griffith.
Yeah. Dragon goes over to Griffith there, which is exactly what they wanted there. They now have 3 Drakes, one off the Mountain Soul there. Is this the same order of...
It's not the same order, but it's the same 3.
It's the same Drakes, just not the same order.
Yeah, no, we mixed up the order, so the 3 dragons...
So it looks like a new set.
Exactly, but it's just, it's all a lie. It's all a lie, as Murdoch does get a tower off of that first after that dragon. As we see the look at the replay right here, I liked the attempt from Murdoch a lot. Boy Meets Evil dropping the enchanted crystal arrow on the backline to open the door for Murdoch to go over the wall and come from above. Unfortunately, that wall was a bit too much for Miniman. As back to the live action, it's actually Brazza securing a kill, and Anderson's caught out as well. Chewy back on point. We're going to ignore the missed Mystic shot on the Scuttle Crab, as instead he's going to be looking for champions, moving down, maybe looking for towers as well. This is a lot of pressure in that mid lane.
Yeah, and again, we said it a moment ago, who was the one that started out that fight getting caught out? Boy Meets Evil, unfortunately. You know, hasn't been a great couple of games for him. He gets caught out, they get the kills, and you know, they went from Murdoch pushing in a tier 1 turret to GU pushing in an inhib turret. So it really hasn't gone their way.
No, and with the magical journey from Brazza, they're going to be able to bounce out and escape. Go ahead and clear out the jungle on your way. Going to reset, get some more items, possibly look towards an early Baron, possibly look to end this game as the base has been cracked open. I like the patience from Griffith as well. They don't take out the inhibitor before 20 minutes. That usually is a good way to funnel gold to your opponent. So Griffith playing a very intelligent game right now.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're, you know, starting off playing the game, is they get an early advantage, they solo ARAM a lane down, and they take inhib at 15 minutes. That's wonderful. However, all you're doing is creating a lane that you are never going to be able to push back your way and gain control of, and you're just giving your opponent free gold. So that is a really smart decision there to not do that, to leave the inhib exposed but not taken.
As we can see already, Simp Master, aware of that Baron threat, has gone up and warded it. It's now looking to siege that topside tower. Will be a little bit cautious as a lane swap is in effect right now for Griffith University. Kind of. I mean, it spits instead of Chewy, but it's still Brazza on the top half of the map, as one should expect. Okay, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. Brazza's rune, or mastery, or keystone as it's now known as.
Omnistone is a wonderful rune, I'll have you know. It is an incredibly good utility item.
I refuse to give you any strategical credit to the Omnistone. Fight happening, meanwhile, though, as Killaroo will escape over the wall, but Anderson front lining right now for Murdoch. I think that's a bit more than he wants, forced to go golden, and in return, Miniman actually gets caught out, is pulled back into his demise. Killaroo secures that kill. Griffith thought they had the pick, but it was them caught instead.
Unfortunately for GU, Murdoch has so much CC and drain tank on them. You know, they got the Swain there. They were targeting Swain, trying to get him down, but he was like, hey, you're all close to me. I will take your HP. I will happily sit here and drain all of your life force. So really, really unfortunate for GU. What looked like a proactive play, in fact, turned out to be, you know, a negative impact for them. It is interesting. Boy Meets Evil still has his cull, hasn't finished it. Just got his Bork. Meanwhile, Chewy has his, you know, Trinity Force, his Ionian Boots. He has his Mana Moon, which I'm assuming will be nearly stacked by this point. He's been throwing Qs off every half a second, so his Mystic Shot should almost be done. I just want to go back to that Dragon fight real quick to point out some trends that I noticed that I think might be noteworthy. One, Toppy did get caught out of position. He wasn't in the greatest position in that fight. He postured towards the bottom side of the Dragon Pit, right where Ashe was, instead of being, you know, further around trying to throw spells from his safe lane, like safe side of the lane, because Miniman had control of the top side of River. Meanwhile, Ashe had dominant control of the south side of River. So that's just something to take note of, is Toppy, although he survived, was forced to use the Realm Warp to get out of a bad position. And the second thing I noticed, Killaroo flashed over the wall because he was on 1 HP.
Yeah.
And then ran back into the full HP Miniman.
Hold this thought. Anderson just got caught out. The follow-through damage is there. Forced to go golden his second time. The first one was Brazza. The second time was his own showstopper used. I'm a little bit surprised by that as Toppy Realm Warps in just to say, hey, how you doing? I'm not actually going to participate. I don't want the assist. Either way, that is a pick onto the mid laner. And Griffith University now going to move towards that Baron. I also want to backtrack a bit because, all right, yeah, League of Legends action happening, woo, fun, picks, Barons, yada, yada, yada. we really need to address this Omnistone Bard, okay? It's been 23 minutes. We've been dancing around the issue. I love it, but there is no competitive reason to ever take this Keystone,
Well,
I feel like.
I disagree, personally. I think that it's one of the reasons Omnistone's set was so popular in the bot lane is because of the utility it brings. You know, he gets the Predator, he gets the Electrocute, he can get some extra damage. Yes, he can't necessarily fully control what he's getting. It's like a worse version of Unsealed Spellbook, but for runes. Except you're blind and you're trying to read Braille, but you never learnt it. So you're just flicking through random pages hoping that it's what you want.
What a great endorsement right there.
However, it's a good way to learn Braille, which is why it's actually good for you. And it offers, you see, he's got Predator now. If he needs to, he can pop Predator and absolutely run them down.
Where did Sipmaster just die? Okay, he died. He did die in that bot lane, right?
Yeah.
That happened.
He got caught out by Toppy, I'm pretty sure. See, look, Predator's been popped. Look how mediocre speed Brazil was going there for a few seconds.
Wow. Amazing. Great job.
Worthwhile rune. Why
you know what? You know why you take Omnistone Bard? To say that you won a game in the Intervarsity League. Won you Omnistone Bard. As towers are falling, Baron-powered minions are marching towards the Murdoch base. Time is running short for this blue side. As you can see, the siege completely underway. Meanwhile, up above, Miniman doing his job, getting pressure on that explosive inhibitor as well, kind of pulling the rest of Murdoch up. And because of that magical journey, Griffith has the ability to sort of match that rotation up as well. Murdoch just under so much threat of losing this game. They have to pick every motion, every step correctly, or their base will fall to shambles. Already an inhibitor is down. They do save the bot side tower. Griffith, though, knocking on that door. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through, does connect onto Brazza, but Chewy is going to cut off Boy Meets Evil. That leaves Chewy exposed. Ducky goes in. Sipmaster tries to follow, but is immediately show-stopped right out of that fight, and the Sipmaster will go down. Killaroo able to find Brazza up above, but the heroic entrance peels for the rest of the Griffith side. Toppy over that wall. Look at the damage onto Killaroo. Nothing this jungler can do. Anderson gets caught as well, and Griffith University will march to a 2-0 record.
Yeah, Griffith's just going to march through there. Really, really good fight from Griffith. A couple of misplays on the side of Murdoch led to their demise, mainly being an overcommitment onto the support. Unfortunately for them, this is going to lead to their defeat, as Griffith is going to get their victory, second victory of this tournament.
Yep, they will move to 2-0 with this victory over Murdoch. A much tighter